Alright guys, welcome to Fugazi Research Society. Today we're going to discuss a topic that is near and dear to our hearts, dinosaurs. Now, no one loves dinosaurs more than us. Jurassic Park is one of our favorite movies to this day. Because of these movies and what we're taught in school, most people forget that dinosaurs are just a theory. And let's remember that a theory is just an idea of how we think something works or how it got started. It's not concrete. It can be changed. In fact, it should be changed when better evidence comes along. Now, this theory is also based on some pretty sketchy evidence. So, unfortunately, we will now be ruining your childhood love for dinosaurs. I'm sorry, but dinosaurs never existed, or at least in the way they've been portrayed. Now, I know that's a pretty wild statement, but let's get into it. A quick disclaimer. As with everything we say, don't take our word for it. Do your own research and form your own opinions. We could be completely wrong, but here are some things to consider. Alright, so let's start from the beginning. Have humans always believed in dinosaurs? No. The term dinosaur is a relatively new word. It was invented by Sir Richard Owen in 1842, meaning terrible, powerful lizard. Prior to 1842, the word that describes the fossils of such animals was dragons. That's right, for the entirety of human existence, no one knew the term dinosaur, but everybody believed in the historical evidence of dragons. But we'll get to that later. Well, Sir Richard must have discovered the fossilized remains of a large unknown reptile, right? No. He coined the new term based on a few previously discovered bone and teeth fragments. And interestingly enough, as soon as the term was coined in 1842, the first dinosaur discovery magically happens in 1858. And with that, dinosaur hunting became extremely popular. One interesting story from this time is something called the Bone Wars, or the Great Dinosaur Rush. It's basically between two men, and forgive me if I butcher their names, they're quite silly. Edward Drinker Cope from the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia, and Othniel Charles Marsh from the Peabody Museum of Natural History at Yale. Basically, these two tried to compete to see who could find more dinosaur fossils and outdo each other, and who could become bigger in the field of paleontology. Both men went to extreme measures to outdo each other, resorting to bribery, theft, and the destruction of bones. Between the two of them, they discovered 136 new species of dinosaurs. Alright, so let's get into the top 5 things to consider when researching the theory of dinosaurs. Number 1. No complete fossil has ever been found, and absolutely zero skulls have ever been found. Everything you see today is merely an artist's renditions of what they think dinosaurs might have looked like. Have you guys ever seen the artist's rendition of the hippo if it was drawn like a dinosaur with just the skin over bones? It's fucking frightening. What about all the dinosaur fossils and skeletons you see in museums today? They'll even admit they're replicas. The excuse is the real ones are too fragile to be put on display. There's even a Jimmy Kimmel skit with an LA Rams player where they poke fun of the idea that anybody could think dinosaurs are fake. It's even been said that the real dinosaur bones are radioactive and dangerous. So you're telling me the land where these bones were discovered, the radioactivity there is fine and people can live there, but the bones, nope, those are too dangerous? There are entire fucking factories in China dedicated to fabricating dinosaur bones and skeletons for museums. They take ground up chicken bones and form fossils and cover them with lead paint. By only having replicas on display, these museums avoid anyone getting a good look at the originals and possibly exposing them as frauds. Remember, many of the originals could have looked pretty crude by today's standards, being made out of bone fiber, plaster, cement, and whatnot. It's probably best that the originals of the early fossils are kept in the back for safekeeping, where no one can see them except the museum experts to avoid scrutiny. It's a total trust me bro scenario. Number 2. Fraud was huge at the time the dinosaur fossils were first discovered. We're told so many specimens were authentic, when in fact nothing is known about their origin. No scientifically convincing methodology has ever been used to verify their true origin. Remember, during the Great Dinosaur Rush, hunting for dinosaur fossils became all the rage, and so did the temptation to commit fraud. These fossils could be sold for huge sums of money, and there was no way to establish whether the fossil was genuine or if it was fabricated. It would be very easy to bury fraudulent fossils in the place where fossil enthusiasts would be sure to find them, and somehow the scientists were always able to find what they were looking for. There's an actual very interesting fraud story that took place pretty recent. So you probably heard of the whole dinosaurs evolved from birds narrative. It was even pushed in the movie Jurassic Park when the little fat kid describes to Dr. Grant that the velociraptor looks like a giant 6-foot turkey. So, of course, the perfect fossil was discovered in northeastern China in 1999. It was called the Archaeoraptor. It had the bone structure of a primitive bird but the teeth of a small dinosaur. Perfect. National Geographic was so excited to announce their discovery, they now had proof that dinosaurs evolved from birds. Within months, however, the entire thing was proven to be a hoax, and National Geographic was forced to apologize. X-ray computer scans revealed that the Archaeoraptor was created from 88 fragments of rock and fossils in 3 layers, and that the animal's tail was stolen from a dromaeosaur. If this could happen in 1999, how much more so do you think it could happen in the late 1800s? It's so funny that they say their narrative first and then magically find something to back it later. Number 3. The scientific methods to date these fossils are bunk. Radiocarbon data has been proven to be inaccurate. How on earth can you determine a fossil is 66 million years old? They can't. If you do a little research, your head will start to spin at the mental gymnastics the scientific community is using to prop up carbon dating. Number 4. The anatomy of dinosaurs is insane and physiologically impossible. So many of them are shaped weird, with the majority of their body weight at the upper end. There is no way that they would have been able to maintain their balance while in motion. The dinosaurs of today are nothing but artists' renditions. Number 5. All of these fossils are being found by the same guys. All of these guys belong to the same club. They're all British Luciferian Freemasons. They're the same club who've brought to you the other great hits such as globe theory, the Earth is billions of years old, the Big Bang Theory, evolution, and so many more. By now you must be thinking, okay, if this is true, why on earth would they go to such great lengths to lie about this? Why would they do this? I'm glad you asked. Why would they make us believe dinosaurs existed 66 million years ago and were wiped out in a meteor? One of the top reasons is to push the idea of evolution. If evolution is true, then there is no creator. Everything is random. You're a meaningless sack of shit with no purpose sitting on a rock that is hurtling through space at millions of miles per hour. It's all designed to make you feel insignificant, powerless, and fearful. They never want you to remember who you really are or how special and powerful you are. Also, if dinosaurs were wiped out by a badass meteorite, this does 2 things. 1, space must be real. 2, another big ass meteorite can come back at any time and wipe us off the face of the planet. Another thing dinosaur theory does is perpetuate a scarcity narrative. There's not enough. There's never enough. We need to fight each other over the finite resources in this realm. You've heard of the term fossil fuel before, right? I don't know if people still believe this, but there is an idea in history that our oil comes from decomposed fossils of dinosaurs, and that was a marketing campaign perpetuated by the Rockefellers. That means that there's only so much oil and it's going to run out. If that's the case, then these companies can jack up the price of oil at any time. They never want us to discover that there is such a thing as free energy, and that up to just recently, our societies had free energy for all, but after the reset, the technology was taken away from us and we were forced into working a 9-to-5 job, slaving away 5 days a week so we can afford food, bills, and gas for our cars that come from dinosaur fossil fuels. It also has to do with money. Think of the billions of dollars the dinosaur industry makes each year. All the movies, the merchandise. What is the biggest thing we push on kids in school? Dinosaur in space. A great effort is made indoctrinating our youth to believe the dinosaurs in space are real. Then, when they become adults, even though they've never researched it a minute in their entire lives, they somehow know dinosaurs existed 66 million years ago and we put a man on the moon. Suggesting anything other would make a grown adult freak out and attack anyone who questions that narrative. So lastly, could some of these bones be real but not what we think? Could they be dragon bones? Now, this is a whole nother rabbit hole that we'll go down in future episodes, but it's not too far fetched. It's interesting that when all these fossils are found, all the skulls are missing, which is exactly what you would do if you killed a dragon. You would keep the skull as a trophy. Every single civilization on Earth has some sort of dragon lore. It's right in our faces. Think of a T Rex specifically. If you were to take the silly little arms off and replace them with wings, like the Game of Thrones dragons, you now have an animal that makes a little more sense physically and matches the dragon lore of all ancient civilizations. So, that's it for now. Let us know what you think. Do your own research and question absolutely fucking everything. Please subscribe to Fugazi Research Society, and we will see you next time.